far in our monochromatic open-ended art prompts, we've used a Sharpie or Pigma Micron or Pigma graphic pens. So these are amazing tools and I love them. I'm gonna put you in a little bit tighter. I love using them in all kinds of art. However, for this lesson, I wanted to talk about charcoal. So I'm gonna set these aside. In an upcoming lesson, we will use the charcoal with a Sharpie and do an abstract piece. But for today, I just wanna stick with charcoal. So I have charcoal pencils and there's my white one. These come in a set and I think that they also come with a little sharpener too from, there is the General's charcoal, and this is a really good set, especially for beginners. And I particularly love my white charcoal. And then you can also get these peel, you kind of just, you pull the string down and then you peel it and it's got charcoal underneath it. Now I use this probably more than these. I don't know why, I just prefer this. I think it's a little bit harder, but these are really good. Charcoal also comes in vine, so you can get, this is willow vine charcoal, and I use it on canvases. It's very soft and easily broken. I actually break it into little pieces and I use it to sketch out like a composition before I paint. So I put it on the white canvas, and then if I don't like it, you can just take your fingers and or a wipe and just wipe it off and just kind of figure it out as you go. So it's really easy. It erases better than like a pencil. Then we also have compressed charcoal. It's kind of a stick. I don't use these a lot. I do have some even thicker jumbo compressed. Why am I saying compressed? Compressed charcoal. And so these just came in a pack. I don't use them for much except demonstrations. But we're gonna just stick with basically these today. And I wanted to show you the difference between charcoal and graphite. Most of the time when I am drawing, I'm gonna pull you in a wee bit tighter, especially if I am starting something for watercolors. Say I'm going to draw, or I want to paint some flowers. I actually don't draw flowers. I just paint them straight on the canvas. But if I wanted to, I would draw with a mechanical pencil because you probably can barely see that, and that's why I would use this because it's very light. Now obviously I could do darker lines and bear down, but you can't do too much or you're going to break the little lead that's inside it. However, I also have these graphite pencils, and these are artist pencils. This one is, well actually they're both 2H's, so I'll just put one aside. But basically they're like your number 2 pencil that you would use doing your school lessons. So you can see that here's just a regular line. Here is me putting a little bit more pressure, and then there, the last line is me putting even more pressure. You can tell that there's not a lot of difference. But with the charcoal, I have, in this pack comes a soft, a medium, and a hard. And this one is the hard. And something is wrong with that one. Let me see. There we go. Had to sharpen it. So it's not as dark, but the medium one, you can see that one really well. And then the soft, and I'm not putting any more pressure on the softer one than I did the medium, but you can just tell that you can get a lighter shade with it, and if you do just a little bit more pressure, you get a darker shade, and you just cannot achieve the same effects with graphite. Even though graphite does come in the hard and soft and medium levels, you still can't get the effects that you can with charcoal. So let's just put this aside, and I thought it would be fun to draw a leaf. This is just a simple ivy leaf from my topiary. I just pulled it off. And so what we're going to do is, I'll hold it up really close. Let me see if I can, there we go. So you can see that the veins are much lighter, and then there are some areas of the leaf that have midtones, and then there are some that have darker tones. So what we're going to do is recreate this leaf, and we're going to just do it in charcoal. Now, I mentioned that the Generals set comes with white, and this is one of my favorite tools or mediums. I love white charcoal, and especially when I am using it on a darker surface. You can't really see it on white paper, so I recommend buying toned paper or toning your own. We talk about how to tone paper, and we talk about different ways you can use charcoal and all the different charcoals and graphites and even other things like Conti crayons and all that in our Drawing 101 art course. So if you want more information, you can check that out. But for today, I am going to just keep it to, I think that I'm going to only use 2 charcoals. So I'm going to choose the soft and the white. So I'm going to put my medium and my hard aside. I'm going to move my graphites out of the way. But you may want to get either a blending stump or a tortillon, or you could get, this is called a chamois, and it just helps you smooth out the charcoal. I'm not going to use that one, but I probably will use the blending stumps. And then the kneaded eraser, you're going to want this, because this is going, if you make a mistake, this will erase it so much better than a regular pencil eraser. So I will put links to these products in the details below. But all I'm going to do, first off, I'm going to stand up so that I can see the leaf from the same perspective, or at least a similar perspective to the one that you see. So I'm going to draw this leaf. It kind of looks like it's got a little notch in it there. It comes out here, it curls up there, and then it comes down to a point. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. You obviously do not have to do an ivy leaf. You can get a leaf outside. You don't even have to do a leaf. You can choose to do whatever you want. But I'm going to draw in some very light veins in our ivy. But I'm going to, at the end, come back over it with the white. But I need some guidelines at the beginning so that I know how to shade. And if I drew white on here, I wouldn't really be able to see it. So all of this is actually going to be covered up in a bit, but I'm going to put it in time lapse while I draw out the veins, and I'll be right back. Alright, so that is basically our leaf. And if you've ever drawn a butterfly wing, this ivy has a lot of the same little cells in it that a butterfly wing has, so it's pretty cool. All right, so what I'm going to do is take this pencil and I'm going to color in all these different cells, leaving a little bit of room to come back with my white. But I will stop as I go and take probably this tortillon. Let me see if I've got this tiny size, this is a medium size, and of course this is my big old blending stump. His name is Schweitzer. If you are a Trekkie, you'll probably get that reference. If not, you can just ignore me. But I will definitely come in here and blend with my tortillon as we go. And I will start with just the mid-tones. And then after I get all of my tones in there, I will come back in and add a little bit more shading to make it darker. And at the very end, we'll come back in with our white and add back in our veins. All right, so I'm gonna stop here, and I've already got some charcoal on my finger, and it is smearing it on the paper, which is fine. It always happens. That's why you want this little kneaded eraser to clean that up. You might want some baby wipes to clean your hand. I'm just gonna keep going. But now I want to focus on the darker areas and start adding in a little bit more, like right in this area. Just gonna add even more of the charcoal where my leaf is darker. So whatever you use for yours, you just look at where it's, let me hold it back up again. So you see how right in here, it's kind of a mid-tone, but it's much darker on the edges. So I want to add that in. And then right up in here. And I want it to be a little bit darker on the very edge of the leaf. And I'm going to do just kind of a lighter stem because the stem is not as dark as our leaf. I'm just gonna take my blending, well, this is a tortillon, not a blending stump, and blend that. It's a bit darker right on the edge where I broke it off from my plant. And then in these areas, I still see a little bit more dark than on the right side of my leaf. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and blend this again, and I'm going to blend it this time with my blending stump. So in effect, I am wiping out all the veins that I drew, but it helped me to know how to shade it as I went. And then I will come back in just a moment and add back in the veins. All right, so I'm gonna just pull you in a little bit tighter, so hopefully you can see the darker tones here, darker shades, and it's kind of the mid-tones or medium shades, and then dark around the edges, and then this is another medium. And now we're going to add in the veins. All right, I'm gonna stop there because I think that is pretty good. Let me just show you this again up close. Hopefully, there we go. Get the camera to focus on it. So that is how you get a little bit more dimension from a monochromatic medium, especially with charcoal.